Boom. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. I have my coffee, as you can see. I don't really understand the question mark. At what point has coffee ever been a question? Do you want coffee? Let me think about this question. Yes, I want coffee. Duh. Ugh. So it's Monday, which means it's a new week, which also means we survived last week, which means we're doing okay, right? We're doing all right. So it's been a pretty interesting week for me. Most of you guys know what's been going on in my life because I keep you guys updated throughout all the rest of my social platforms. And it's been a rough week. It's kind of knocked me off my schedule. And I mean, of course, right? I make a schedule. I'm doing really good sticking to it, and then all of a sudden something happens and I can't keep up with my schedule. And I feel that's kind of just how life goes. It's like as soon as you start finding a balance in something, or you start to focus on something, or kind of gain momentum in a project you're doing, it's like life is like, no. Let me put a few more pounds on your shoulder because this is clearly way too easy for you. So my life definitely has decided to take yet another turn in my adventures, but that's just kind of how life goes. You never know what it's going to throw at you. You just know that you need to be ready because clearly it could be anything, right? It could definitely be anything. But we have to really pay attention to the fact that there's always going to be distractions. There's always going to be something that comes up, and I think that it's really important that we focus on continuing that healthy path that we've set for ourselves. If we stray too far off that path, we may, have a hard time getting back to it, and before you know it, it can be several months, several years down the line, and you still haven't accomplished that goal that you set for yourself because that one thing knocked you off of your groove. And that's kind of what's happened to me this week. Last week I had this whole thing lined out for Monday Coffee, and it went really well, and I wasn't able to do that this week. And if I think really hard, I probably could have still done it, but I was really off my game emotionally, and I was tired and just having a really hard time focusing because my brain was everywhere else, and it did affect me. And in the end, the reason why I was knocked off my path, I mean, it didn't affect them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this setup, I have this goal sheet, I have this, schedule that I've planned for myself, and then somebody comes in and says, no, you're not, I'm going to screw this up for you. And, ultimately, either you let them or you don't let them. You either control it or you don't control it. And in the end, you're the one that suffers. My show is the one that's suffering. What I'm doing is the one that's suffering because the person who knocked me off that path is probably either not thinking about it or still talking crap about me. It's not affecting their life the same way that it's affecting yours, and it's hindering me from moving forward in my passion. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about this week, because I think that that's a really important factor in life. I think that that's something that we all really need to try and focus on more of. And don't get me wrong, I think that it's really important that we take that time in whatever we're going through. So for instance, like I've been sharing with you guys, I'm having a hard time with my family, my mom and my dad, and my sister mainly. And they really got to me this week. I've been trying to do my best to kind of keep moving forward, not paying too much attention to it because it's not something that I can change. You can't change someone's opinions of you when you're not the one that put that opinion in their head in the first place. So to remove it, it's really difficult. And that's kind of what's grabbed my attention is they did what they did to me, which ultimately knocked me off my lane. We're in this race in life. Everybody is all in their lane, and somebody swerves over and knocks you out of your lane, and you got to kind of get yourself back together and get yourself back on track. And sometimes it's hard, and this week I lost focus, but I think it's something that I needed there is a little squirrel. I can't flip the camera around, but watch. Can you guys see him up there? I don't know if you guys can see him. Every time I sit here and do my video, he sits in that chair. I don't know if you guys saw him or not. If you didn't, I'm sorry. He sits right on this branch and he just stares at me through the window, wagging his tail. He always distracts me. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hi, mister. Okay. Is that all you wanted, was to be acknowledged? And I was running away. Okay. You're adorable. Quit shaking your tail like that at me. Hey. But, you know, that's the problem, is that it knocks you off, and a lot of people try to suppress that emotion, and because they don't want to be knocked off their path, so they feel like if they ignore what's going on or they suppress it, then it's not happening. They can keep going down the path that they're going on, no harm, no foul. But I think that after so much of that, it does start to get to you, and it did start to get to me, and I've been pretty strong through the whole situation, and I've been continuing on because, you know, I have a life and I have kids, and I'm not gonna just curl up in a ball and stop everything because somebody is upset with who I am as an individual. So I did kind of break this week, and I decided to just go on ahead and embrace that once it started, because I knew I needed it. And when things like that happen in your life, you're allowed to embrace that emotion of are you serious? Like, why me? What did I do? This isn't fair. I don't deserve this. Like, you get to embrace that. You get to walk through that emotion. And I think that it's important for us to do that, because we need to feel all of that, and we still need to push ourselves and get through it, because in the long run, it just helps us grow stronger. So that's kind of what I'm determined to do. I'm determined to not be upset with myself for kind of losing focus this week, because I think that I needed to lose that focus and just kind of embrace the pain that I'm going through as a person, because it's a heartache, it's a pain, it's when your family turns on you, it's a big blow. So as much as I've been suppressing it and trying to ignore it, I'm trying to have the mindset of, you know, everybody's gonna have their own opinion of you, and you can't change that. So let them live in the frustration of who you are, but don't you live in the frustration of who you are, and don't you absorb that negative energy. Let them keep it all. It's their negative thought, it's their negative opinion, it's not you, so let them wallow in that negative energy. And I really think that that's important. I really do. So all in all, I did break, and I did struggle this week, and I'm here, and I don't have my guidelines, I don't have anything that I wanted to start doing on my show, but I think that because I've been sharing that stuff with you guys, and I have been honest with you guys about it, I think that it just shows that in a situation like this, you can come full circle. You know, the beginning of the week, I was really struggling. By midweek, I was having a breakdown, and by, you know, the end of the week, and here it is, a new fresh week, I do feel better, and I do feel stronger, and I do feel like I have more control over my direction. Because even though somebody tried to knock me off my path, I decided to just kind of pull over for a minute and rest my eyes and rest my energy, and now here I am getting back on the road with a fresh mind, a fresh direction, and I do feel better about it. And I think that you guys understand where I'm coming from every time I get knocked off my schedule, because you guys see what I'm going through, and you don't only see what I'm going through, but you guys also relate to what I'm going through. And if I can share that and kind of assist in whatever you guys are going through in the moment, or in the past or in the future, if it may be, but you guys can kind of see how I'm walking myself through it and how I'm getting there. And here I am. It was last week, I can't remember what day last week, I was in the full blaze of Mordor, getting my ass kicked, really upset, really struggling, and now here I am. It's Monday. We're supposed to hate Monday, but I'm excited about Monday. I'm excited to get back on my schedule, starting out with this first video for the week, and I'm just going to keep going, and it's going to be a good week, and I'm determined to use the re-empowerment that I've gained over going through something kind of traumatic, and I am insisting on putting all of that energy in to fuel what I'm doing with my life, instead of allowing it as kind of a heavy blanket or a burden that stops me in what I'm doing in life. And I think a lot of people use that kind of stuff as an excuse. They do. I think that it's easy. The easy road is always the one where something happens, like you're working so hard trying to reach, whatever your goal is, whatever your dream is, and then that's hard enough, right? Like, reaching your goals and your dreams isn't easy. It's a very, very difficult path that you feel like you constantly fail on more than you succeed in. But then when something happens, it's easy to use it as an excuse to just stop. Because after all, it was hard enough as it was, and you were struggling, and you didn't really want to keep pushing forward because it just wasn't working the way you wanted it to. So, this happened. I can't, clearly. Now I have an excuse to not move forward and keep pushing. So when somebody asks me, I can say, but you can't do that. You can't do that, because then you're missing out on so much. You're missing out on not only what you gain as a person, but what you're going to help others gain as people too, because your actions have an effect in this world, and everybody that you interact with is going to get some kind of effect from your actions and what you're doing and what you're saying. So I think that it's really important to not use the hard times in life as excuses to say that you're fully broke down and you can't continue driving down your path in life. So I refuse to let this be something that puts me out of commission. I refuse to allow it to stop me from moving forward with all of the progress that I'm making with my brand and my videos and what I'm doing for me and my family, what I'm doing for you guys. So I feel like I've had my week of it's okay to be upset, and it's okay to kind of pull back a little bit and work on your mental and your emotional, because that's really what it was effective this week. And I needed to kind of patch that up. It's like when I'm driving, right? I'm driving down the road. I kind of drive more like this. No, I'm just kidding. I'm driving down the road, and my vessel, my car needs some maintenance. My car needs a little attention, so I'm going to pull over, and I'm just going to step back for a minute. I'm going to do some much needed maintenance and care so I can continue on my path in the best shape as possible, healthy and happy, and not having to worry about any flat tires or running out of gas on my way to my destination in life. So it's a new week, and even though what's going on in our lives can be really difficult or overbearing or stressful, we can't allow it to completely consume our progress as human beings in life. We can't use it as an excuse to stop. As easy as it is, it's always hard to continue to push forward, and it's always hard to keep moving, especially when it can be such an emotionally draining situation that you're going through, and on top of anything else that you may be dealing with, like depressions and anxieties and mental disorders that you're already working so hard to balance out in your life. So it's easy to kind of just cave and stop. But we're not going to do that. We're not going to allow anything negative in our life to stop our progress. So this week, I'm really going to focus on the progress of me and what I can put into what I'm doing and what I'm putting out there for others, instead of allowing others' negative energy and opinions and obsessions that don't define who I am as a person to stop me from reaching those goals. because ultimately I'm going to be the one that misses out on those benefits, and my kids are going to miss out on it, my boyfriend's going to miss out on it, my family, and the people that really are close to me who love me. We're all going to miss out on those benefits from whatever it is I'm meant to do in this life. So just remember that people can only stop you if you allow them to. And even though it's really, really difficult, and I do know it's easier said than done, we do have to keep pushing at the hardest moments, because those are the defining moments of you. Those are the defining moments of your character. Those are the defining elements that make up your story. Is what did you do when it got hard? What did you do when you had to make the hard decisions? Not the easy ones, not the ones where when you go to the fridge, you open it up and you're like, do I want a drumstick or do I want, some Snickers ice cream? That's an easy answer. Both. It's always both. But you can't just use it as an excuse. And I love you guys, and I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for all of you just as much as I can feel you rooting for me. And if you do feel alone throughout the day, and if you do feel like everything that's going on in your life is, making you feel like you're collapsing, just know that I'm out here, and I do love you guys, and it's not an empty word. I feel you guys are beautiful human beings, and I see it in your comments, and I see it in your interactions. And if you're really having a hard day, feel free to contact me. Feel free to send me a Snapchat saying, love alert, I need some virtual love, and I'll always snap back, and I always message back, when you guys send me emails. So know that you're not alone, even if it feels like you are, because I am out here rooting for you and loving you from afar. You guys are my people, and we're going to get through this together. We definitely are. This is only a moment. It is not eternity. And eventually it's going to be, way past, and it's going to be a memory that we reflect on, and we reflect on how hard it was and how much it sucked, but that we pulled ourselves up by our bootstraps and we kept trekking on down the road. When your car runs out of gas, you don't just sit there. You get out and you go and you find a solution. So even though you may be, suffering with some roadblocks in life, you have to figure out a way to get past them. And just focus on always doing what's right. Always, doing it in kindness and love and honesty, and be faithful to yourself. And you can't go wrong. If you're living life, honestly, and you're treating others with kindness and love, even if you don't want to, and even if you don't deserve it, or they don't deserve it, you can't go wrong with that kind of mentality. And if you're really struggling, just take a step back and take some deep breaths and do something for yourself, whether it's watching your favorite show on Netflix or eating a pound of mini cinnamon donuts. Just focus on the care of you, and realize that it's a moment, and you are going to get past it. So that's my shtick. That's what I got for y'all this week. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know I promised this super cool outline of funny shit on the internet and all this other stuff, but we'll get back to that next week. But until then, this has been another episode of Monday Coffee with the Doll. Stay tuned, because on Wednesday we will be doing Daily Dose of Doll, and we will be talking about toxic relationships, whether it be family, friends, a coworker, your significant other. There's a lot of different forms of toxic relationships, and we're going to talk about how you can get past them. I'll talk to you about the toxic relationships in my life, how I got past them, how I dealt with them. And remember, there is an event on my Facebook page. You are welcome to go join that event. Let me know that you're watching. Feel free to post in the event your situations with toxic relationships. Share your stories to help others. And if you guys have a question that you want me to answer on my show, feel free to post it on the wall, and I will answer it live on my show. But until then, remember that I love you guys. If this video helps you, give it a thumbs up so I know I'm doing something good out there. Feel free to leave a comment below, and subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video. Subscribers always get to see the video the night before anybody else, so you get a little bit of a perk. Someday I'll have the ability of giving you guys like big perks. Like if you subscribe, I'm gonna send you a unicorn. Or it could be a donkey with a really glittery unicorn headband. Or it could just be me. I'm about as unicorny as it gets. But remember that I love your faces, and we have another week to do amazing things as human beings on this planet. So make the most of it. I will see you guys on Wednesday. So drink a cup for me, y'all. Bye.